If you live anywhere in the West LA area, particularly the Fairfax district, somewhere near Olympic or Robertson, Pico and La Cienega, you know the area, you no doubt used to see those ambulances with a Hebrew writing on them driving around town. They're the all-volunteer, donation-funded organization Hatzolah, which responds to medical emergencies primarily in LA's Jewish communities. Well, Hatzolah has been in a battle with the city of Los Angeles. I'm joined now by Lindsey Mastis, a correspondent with our partners at Feature Story News. Lindsey, you've been following the story. What's going on here?
David, the city of Los Angeles has ordered Hatzolah to stop transporting patients in their ambulances, in essence, to make way for the LA Fire Department. This at a time when the LAFD is facing so many problems of its own. Trained EMTs with Hatzolah have been responding to medical emergencies. However, now they're not allowed to take patients to the hospital. Hatzolah says this is putting sick people at risk because they have to wait for a city ambulance to show up. Hatzolah has been under fire from the city for about a year.
There are 70 volunteer EMTs that respond to medical emergencies in 3 different Jewish communities. They don't get paid, and their patients, whether they're Jewish or not, are never charged, not 1 cent. And that's part of the problem.
The city requires that we charge for services in order to be an ambulance service.
But Benjamin Geiger of Hatzolah says if they charge, they wouldn't be allowed to respond to emergencies at all. It's a catch-22. And last year,
we received essentially a request from the city to cease and desist, to stop transporting our patients.
Since then, Hatzolah has been storing their ambulances, including in the parking lot of this mortuary. They're worried that if they're not able to transport people to the hospital, some of their patients could end up at mortuaries as well.
There have been cases where the paramedics are further from us than we are from the hospital, and we're stuck just waiting for the paramedics to come.
It creates a situation with safety.
Frank Lima, president of United Firefighters of Los Angeles City, says Hatzolah is putting people at risk because it isn't licensed the same way the fire department is, and it could lead to competition from commercial ambulance companies, taking away resources and jeopardizing lives.
Our job here at United Firefighters of Los Angeles City is to protect the city, protect the fiscal integrity of the city, to make sure that our recoverable $70 million that we get annually in ground emergency medical transportation stays exclusively ours. We don't want to erode our rights, so we have we have ambulance services coming in from all over to bid to take our jobs.
But Los Angeles City Councilman Paul Koretz believes Hatzolah should be allowed to operate within city limits.
When you get there a couple of minutes early, because you are on the spot right there as a volunteer, and you're trained, a couple minutes of CPR to get things started and then hand it over to the fire department, that could save a life many times over in the city. And I don't think we should miss that opportunity.
An ideal situation that would save face for everyone would be to create a carve-out that would allow an all-volunteer organization such as Hatzolah to exist without threatening the fire department. And that's why
David Bacall with Hatzolah says until then, the organization itself is at risk. He's worried the city will limit them further.
We could be shut down.
This is being dragged out, and neither side seems to be backing down. David?
Okay, look, so as an outside observer, it seems only natural. Obviously, the fire union is concerned about competition. So in that case, Linz, they may have a valid point. What I want to know is Hatzolah affecting the city's business? So as an example, how many emergency calls is Hatzolah taking away from the fire department?
Well, David, Hatzolah says they're not trying to encroach on anyone's business. The organization always calls the fire dispatch and lets them know when there's an emergency first. According to LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's office, the fire department, on average, responds to about 900 medical emergencies per day. Hatzolah tells me their organization responds to only about 700 in a year. That's less than 0.5%.
Yeah, hearing that Hatzolah is not encroaching on anyone. But let's be honest, with this, aren't emergency responders with LA Fire Department better trained than, say, these Hatzolah folks, for example?
Hatzolah says all their EMTs receive training that exceeds state regulations, but the fire department employs paramedics so they can respond to all emergency calls, whereas Hatzolah can only provide basic life support.
Okay, finally, you did say earlier, basically both sides are in a stalemate, so to speak. So obviously, what's next for Hatzolah?
David, Hatzolah does not plan to sue. They told me that they don't want to turn this into a legal battle. What they're trying to do right now is educate local and state lawmakers about the organization. They're currently working with lobbyists to try and get that message out.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay.